I just took my thumbnail and I feel like I kind of match the vibe of these books right now. Anyways. I'm filming with a camera again for the first time in forever because I found my camera and that's weird. Anyways, so today I want to do another book recommendations video, and we're going to talk about books that follow families. So like specifically romance series that follow families, because I'm a romance reader. So I have some historicals and some contemporaries, 3 of each, I think. Yes. And I feel like a lot of these will not be a surprise, but I'm still going to recommend them. So the first one, I'm just going to grab them off my stack here. I think I'm going to do historical first, is the MacKenzies and McBrides series by Jennifer Ashley. So the first one is The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie. This is Lady Isabella's Scandalous Marriage. I think this is the second or third one. I can't remember. This follows... The beginning of it really follows the MacKenzies, and then you kind of go into the McBrides situation. So the first like 4 follow siblings, and I know The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie I think is like a pretty popular like historical romance in like the bookish community, but I do think the whole series is really good, and I obviously love a family. You like usually get tons of like going back to the couples that you've seen before, and you usually get to build more relationships, and you definitely have that with this series. Next is one of my favorite series of all times. I think I did a review when I reread it a couple of years ago. If I did and I can find that video, I'll link it somewhere. And that is The Hathaways by Lisa Kleypas. So this is the first one, Mine Till Midnight, and I think out of the 5 books in this series, I believe 4 of them have 5 stars for me, and I feel like Love in the Afternoon at some point in my life will become a 5-star read. I think it's the kind of book that over time I've grown to like it every time I've read it. I think maybe like I had to mature or something for it. I don't know. I was reading this series basically as it came out. I think the first 2 books were out when I started reading it. It was like when I first found Lisa Kleypas. And this follows the Hathaways. There are 4 sisters and 1 brother, and he kind of like falls into a title, and they were never like title people, and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. And they, along with this, he inherits kind of a crumbling estate, and I just love the whole relationship between the Hathaways. Each of these books, I mean, these are like quintessential Lisa Kleypas, like socioeconomic differences. It's kind of, I don't know if it's technically the Industrial Revolution, but like when things are kind of starting to change in England, and so you have more upward social mobility for different people, and I think she really navigates those things very well. This one I always say is like kind of like 2 alphas being a couple together. This one is Amelia, right? That's her name? Yes. And she is very much like, I want to say like the matriarch of the Hathaways, but I feel like that might make you think she's like really old or something, but she's just kind of like the big sister who makes sure everybody like keeps their shit together. Especially because her brother is a hot mess because of like he lost a woman he loved, and he's like, I think he might be an alcoholic. I can't remember, but he's definitely not functioning properly in the beginning of this series. And then Cam, who you actually meet in the Wallflower series, he's a Romany gypsy, and there's actually 2 romances in this. This one, the first 2, both have Romany gypsy heroes, which is interesting, and they just, oh my gosh, I love it. Plus I'm a sucker for like a corset back cover, and I worked so hard to get this stepback edition. Love it. And then the last historical romance, because you have to, is the Bridgertons. No, I have still not seen the show. I honestly don't know if I'll ever watch it. I think I've talked about this before. Shonda Rhimes and I, she does not create content for me. Like, I understand that people love it and that's great. it's not for me. I have tried to watch Grey's Anatomy, I have tried to watch Scandal, and I have tried to watch How to Get Away with, is that what it is? The murder one? And I've watched multiple episodes of these shows, and like, it's just not for me. Also, I'm really mad that they're skipping book 3. I'm assuming they're gonna go back to it because obviously I see content about Bridgerton, but like, I also hate Penelope and Colin's story, like, full disclosure. Like, yes, I have these beautiful Illumicrate editions, and I think they are amazing, but The Duke and I, the first book, not my favorite. I don't like it. I mean, it's fine. I think I gave it 3 stars even upon a reread. This one I reread. The series I reread as well. I'll try to link that video. But Romancing Mr. Bridgerton is like probably my least favorite, like even more so than The Duke and I. Like, The Duke and I just has like one major problem in it. Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, I just cannot stand, and I do not buy the Colin and Penelope romance. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. I think the Bridgertons, and they were really my first exposure, I think, to, that's not true, because I read The Mallorys by Joanna Lindsay when I was in high school, but really exposed me to this like large family romance following dynamic. When He Was Wicked is my first Julia Quinn novel, because for whatever reason that was what my the local library to my college had. It was like the only Julia Quinn book they had. But again, you have the family dynamics. I love Violet Bridgerton as like the matriarch of the Bridgerton family, and also because the series goes over 8 books and over a wide like time span, you kind of see characters grow up, like Hyacinth and Gregory. You kind of see them as like children in the beginning and then like slowly grow up, and I do really appreciate that. And I think this is one of the things I like about romances that follow series, like a family throughout a series, is that you get to spend more time with these characters and you get to see them grow more, and you get to see the interpersonal dynamics more. Like, I love the Pall Mall whole like thing, and just like all the little intricacies of being a family and being the Bridgertons and everything. So yes, I'll just put you right back there. And then we'll go into the contemporary romance. So first, because again, I am who I am, I'm going to recommend the True North series by Sarina Bowen. So this is actually the most recent / I'm assuming the last book in the series, Waylaid. The first one is Bittersweet, and this series mainly follows the Shipley family, and it's small town Vermont, and it does interconnect with some of her other series like the Brooklyn series and Hello Goodbye, Hello Forever, Goodbye Paradise. I can never remember what those titles are, but those two. So yes, these are definitely, the first one is a little heavy, but they get a little heavier in the second and third ones. You deal with things like addiction and escaping a cult, but at the core of so much of this is the Shipley family, and I am obsessed with them. I wish they were real people. I love like Mrs. Shipley, like the mama. She is amazing and wonderful, and I love her. And Grandpa Shipley gives me life, and the only thing that scares me about these books is that as she publishes more, because now she has a spin-off series called The Guilt Makers. The first one came out last year and the second one comes out this year, which follows a different family, but like you kind of know them from here. Is like Grandpa Shipley dying. Like, please, Sarina, don't do that to me. Just like, don't do it. He will live forever. I'm obsessed with him. If you've ever seen the show Heartland, I feel like I picture him kind of like Jack. Like from that show, like the grandpa from that show. I think that's his name. I haven't seen Heartland in forever, but so yes, as much as I love the romances in these, and I do because it's Sarina Bowen, so of course I do, I will constantly pick up these books just like to re-immerse myself in the Shipley family. They are one of my favorite people. I love them. Next, again, because I am predictable, is the Addicted and Calloway Sisters series. Is 2 series. They're connected by Krista and Becca Ritchie. So you have the Addicted series, which is 5 books that follow Lily and Lo, and then the Calloway Sisters series, which are 4 books that kind of like alternate between two couples, which are Lily's sisters. There's some other family dynamics at play as well. I think this one is very different from the other ones that I have talked about, in that this family, so to me, the Calloway sisters, so Lily, Rose, and Daisy, and then Poppy, to some extent. They have an older sister, Poppy, but she doesn't have her own story. She's like kind of separated from them in a lot of ways. But I don't forget you. I don't forget you. Like, they ultimately have a very good relationship. Because they all have so much going on. Lily has really separated herself from her family because of her sex addiction. It has created like a lot of tension in their lives. But ultimately they become a very close set of sisters, and then their spouses as well, two of whom are half brothers. So this, I think, is a great, I often describe this as a found family, even though you have actual blood relationships in here, because I think it's the almost choice to be a family, even though some of them are related. Like, they choose to really immerse themselves in their relationship. And so I think that's like slightly different than like all of the other ones I have recommended. And they do have some difficult family situations, but they still play a major role here. So like Papa Calloway, he's not bad. He's kind of like a distant father. He's worked really hard and everything, but their mom is pretty toxic. Like Lo and Reich's dad is, I think a lot of people would probably consider him like a really evil person. And I do think he's pretty bad, but I think he's very complicated and complex. And I think that there are a lot of layers there. I'm not excusing a lot of the things that he has done throughout these books, but honestly, I consider the Calloway's mom worse. So, you know, whatever. But this is a slightly different vibe than all of the other ones, but I still highly recommend it. I'm of course obsessed with Krista and Becca, and I also Addicted to You, like the whole Addicted series is, to me, I like that better than the Calloway sisters. I like the Addicted series more than the Calloway sisters series, but I think it really depends on what vibe you're going for. I think the Addicted series, it's a very codependent, unhealthy relationship, and so if that's going to bother you, you're probably going to be more of a Calloway sisters fan. And then back to a little bit more of a traditional family is the Winston brothers. So the first one Truth or Beard? Yes, the first one is Truth or Beard. I haven't reread this in forever. I have probably talked about Cletus Winston an atrocious amount of times. His book is Beard Science. I'm obsessed with him, and I am in love with the whole Winston family. It is mainly brothers. That's why this one is like the Winston brothers series. They do have one sister, Ashley. She has a book in another series, and I think that's where you're really first introduced to the Winston brothers, and then this happened, and I'm so glad it did because I love these books and I love the Winston brothers. These take place in Tennessee, like so a little bit down south, and it is just, I have talked before about loving like male friendships, and I do, and I think this is like peak male friendship, but they're brothers. So you have bickering, but you have emotional connection, you have just like so much that I love about the Winston brothers. And they've been through a lot, them and their sister. Like, they've been through losing their parents. Their dad is like a complete scumbag, but they are there for each other. They are funny. Oh my gosh, I love this series. I want to reread it so bad, but like I have so many books to read, so I don't know. But maybe I'll do like a reread vlog next year or something, but it's a lot of books. I don't know. I really just want an excuse to read more Cletus Winston, which also I think Penny Reid, he has like a spin-off series, and there's supposed to be 4 books, and 2 of them are out, and the last one came out like 2 or 3 years ago, but I think she is going to finish it soon, so hopefully. Anyways, so those are some book recommendations with romance novels that follow a set, like a family set, which is one of my favorite things. I'm a huge fan of sequel bait. I don't think I've talked about that recently. I've done videos on it before, and so you just always know you're going to get that in a family that follows a series. So yes, But those are my recommendations. If you have any, leave them down in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!